Hello, I'm Emmanuel,
I'm Gina.
Andre.
and we will be going over water consumption in California governed by agriculture. Starting off with a brief introduction, we'll be going over a number of different topics today, such as agriculture's influence on water consumption, sustainability issues, and some efficient solutions. Starting with how agriculture affects water usage. California's agriculture industry heavily relies on water for irrigation, as most of the state's agricultural land is in regions that receive little rainfall. As such, water plays an essential role in agriculture. In California, approximately 9.6 million acres are irrigated with roughly 34 million acre-feet of water, an amount that would cover 31 million football fields with at least 1 foot of water. And that's a lot more water than you think. California's agriculture is highly influential in water usage due to several different key factors, such as crop diversity, climate, agricultural practices, regulatory framework, and water-intensive livestock production. Starting with crop diversity, California's agriculture is incredibly diverse, producing over 400 different types of crops. These include fruits, vegetables, nuts, and a significant portion of the nation's supply of certain crops like almonds, strawberries, and avocados. Each crop has different water requirements, with some being particularly more water intensive than others. Next is climate. Much of California has a Mediterranean climate characterized by hot, dry summers and mild, wet winters. This means that irrigation is often necessary to support different agricultural activities, especially during the dry season. Water is drawn from various different sources, including rivers, reservoirs, and underground aquifers. Next, agricultural practices. The methods used in agriculture can significantly impact water usage. Traditional flood irrigation, while simple and inexpensive, can be inefficient, leading to water wastage through runoff and evaporation. We will be discussing more efficient irrigation methods later on in this presentation. Next is regulatory framework. California has regulations in place to manage water usage in agriculture, including laws governing water rights, groundwater pumping, and water conservation measures. These regulations aim to balance the needs of agriculture with environmental sustainability and water resource management. And lastly, water-intensive livestock production. Agriculture in California includes more than just growing crops. For example, significant livestock production, such as dairy farming, uses up a lot of our water. Livestock farming requires water not only for the animals to drink, but also for growing feed crops like alfalfa and corn. Managing water usage in the livestock sector is also crucial for overall water sustainability. For example, one decent-sized hamburger requires more than 600 gallons to produce. The same amount would produce more than 4 cups of almonds. Now, moving along to Gina.
Okay, so we talked about how California has a big agricultural industry and how that industry is super dependent on water. Um, and now we're going to discuss why we are having trouble getting the water we need. There's a couple different reasons for that. The first reason is climate change. So, as we know, carbon dioxide gets trapped into our atmosphere, and that carbon dioxide traps in heat. So, it is leading to warmer and warmer weather and basically more unpredictable weather patterns. As a result of this, California has particularly struggled over the past few years with drought. This drought has become so severe that it has depleted our surface water and honestly a lot of our water reserve. It's just made it less water available for us to work with. The second factor is that California is not great at collecting the runoff from the rain it does get. Basically what happens is when it rains, the rain goes into the storm drains, and the storm drains put it into a storm basin, like a storage, and eventually that storm water goes into the ocean and is further contaminated and we can't use it. Um, the third factor is pollution and contamination of our water sources. So, again, California is a big agricultural state, and we use a lot of pesticides. And we also very populated, so we use a lot of gas, right? So all of that combined puts a lot of toxic chemicals in the air, which then get into our groundwater. And again, we can't use it. So, there are a couple of ways to make our agriculture here in California more sustainable. The first way is to avoid overpumping. Overpumping depletes our groundwater supply, and that's really our reserve. So, if we don't have that groundwater saved, it will get used up and we won't have enough water. The second way is reducing acreage, which is basically cutting down on the active farmland that needs to be irrigated. So, in simpler terms, less crops to water. The third way is to seek out more durable crops that require less water. So, in my research, I found out that California produces something like a third of the nuts and fruits for the entirety of the country. And that uses up quite a bit of water. And so farmers are considering using less water reliant crops like grains. As you can see on the upper right hand side, I have like a wheel of more sustainable farming options like corn. Yeah, just anything that can use less water. And the third thing that has been proven to be super helpful is groundwater recharging. So groundwater recharging is basically when excess water seeps into the ground to replenish underground aquifers. So there are a couple ways that we achieve this. Sometimes it happens naturally, but there are a couple ways we achieve this man-made. We can divert our rivers, our canals, and excess irrigation to basically seep into the underground and save that water in a recharge basin. As you can see in the picture, it goes into a big basin for later use. We can divert water from the wells too, and basically it creates a storage. So when drought times come, it's not as much of an issue. So now we are going to talk about irrigation methods with Andre.
A tech irrigation design. One of the groundwork productions of sprinkler irrigation is drip evaporation, which is considered one of the most cost-effective irrigation methods. The micro irrigation tech invention proceeds to uncover solutions that improves efficiency, such as irrigation consumption. Ultimately, it helps achieve more crop production. The technology provides precise water control, dissolved fertilizers, application facilities, and thus more resilient and less cost effective. Some key elements of micro irrigation are economic efficiency, controlled watering, and fertilizer application. Enhancing the efficiency of irrigation. To optimize harvest quantity with sprinkler irrigation, it's important to optimize water efficiency around the actions of scheduling, maintenance, and monitoring. Utilizing water-saving technologies and implementing smart irrigation practices can further enhance results of crop production. Irrigation efficiency efforts can be reached through advancements of irrigation technology, maximizing water efficiency, and proceedings of ongoing progressions that involve irrigation technique. These plans of action are intended to permit better irrigation management. Maximizing the process of rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is considered a water management strategy. The downside is rainfall isn't 100% reliable due to the occurrences of dry spells. According to Hinyani, rainwater harvesting can be adapted to climate change, especially in areas that often experience water shortages. Deploying rainwater harvesting creates a pathway of continual success for farmlands to yield crops. Some key components of rainwater harvesting are storage pumps, which help conserve water or make use of water and conserve water from heavy rainfall, and then filters which help keep debris out of the water.
Alrighty. In conclusion, California's agriculture industry is a significant user of water resources. And with most of the state's agricultural land situated in regions with low rainfall, the reliance on irrigation is high. However, adopting more efficient and sustainable irrigation methods can help reduce water waste and pollution. Although it is easier said than done, California can work towards achieving this goal with the help of innovative technologies and practices. By doing so, the state can assure the availability of water resources for its agricultural needs while also preserving the environment. Here are our references, and thank you for your time.